What's going on, YouTube? RDAP Dan here, Federal Prison Time Consulting. Happy Wednesday to everybody, and happy belated Father's Day to all of you fathers out there. We will give everybody a few minutes to join us. As always, it is 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Oh, and we've got audio running. Somehow I always do that. You'd think by now I would have fixed those issues. So today we're talking about personal narratives and positive outcomes if you're willing to put in the hard work to create the opportunity for that positive outcome. That's what we're going to be discussing today. First, we're going to wait for everybody to join us. This is a good opportunity for you guys to take a moment if you would like to subscribe. Also, if you'd like to get text notifications of when we go live, this is a good opportunity for you to send a text to 76626. Text the word YouTube to 76626. That will put you on our notification list, just as you see on the bottom of your screen right there scrolling. What's up, Dan? Where you been? 3 weeks, no YouTube videos. What's going on, Sean? At least somebody noticed I was gone. Honestly, guys, I took a little time off. We've been revamping. We're getting ready to launch a new podcast. You can't tell from the video right now because of what's going on. It looks fine behind me, but on the other side, complete chaos. So we're redoing the entire studio. We're really going to be going into a podcast direction as well, which I'm very excited about. And we're going to be doing a couple of different podcasts. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys when the time is right. I don't want to talk too much about it yet, but it is getting ready to get up and running. We've purchased a bunch of new equipment. So I may have some audio difficulties today because this is actually the podcast microphone and setup I'm using because I didn't have time to switch back over. I was lazy and forgot to do it. However, going through everything and throwing stuff away, and we're having somebody come in to kind of design the studio to get the right feel. I did come across my old RDAP water bottle, which I thought I would share with you guys. I don't know if you can see the word RDAP on there. You probably can't see it through the dark green, but this was given to me in RDAP. It was actually given to me from the RDAP coordinator for doing something I was supposed to do. I don't remember. And I'm drinking my green juice. So hopefully you all have been okay. I know a lot of people are getting ready to get sentenced. A lot of you have already been sentenced. And we're going to be doing an awesome interview with a guy this coming Tuesday. One of our clients, his name is Sean. Sean's going to be doing, I don't know if it's going to be live or we're going to record it and edit it. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to gauge after my conversation with Sean. I think we might record it. And Sean just got sentenced. He was expecting a very lengthy sentence. White collar crime. He was a doctor. He owes about $2 million in restitution, and he got a massively departed sentence from his guideline range, almost 60% below the minimum guideline range and 60% below what was being recommended. So it was a huge, huge advantage for him. And what the judge told him is what I want you guys to hear during the interview, because it was pretty amazing. And it really touches on the work that we do here at Federal Prison Time Consulting, which is why I decided to do a video tonight talking about personal narratives, and if you're willing to put in the work, the type of results that can yield, which in many cases is, as we talk about, sentence reduction, going downward departed from your guideline range, and in many cases, home confinement and probation. We see this more than people would want to understand because a lot of people think it's impossible. I've even heard people say you can't get probation in the feds. Which we know is not true. And I think when people say you cannot get probation in the feds, I think what they might be referring to is parole. You don't parole in the feds, at least not anymore. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that tonight because these are some key ingredients. First, I'd like to get a roll call. Who's in here watching us right now? If you haven't done so, take a moment, subscribe, make sure you like the channel, give it a thumbs up. Share the video on your social media, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. And you can also come find us on all of these other social media platforms as well, including LinkedIn. We've had some really awesome interview opportunities that are going to be rolling in the next 90 days. Hey, what's going on, Kevin? Welcome, welcome. Seeing some regular faces in here. It's always nice when we see the regular faces, and it's always nice when we see some of the new people pop in as well. So again, what's going on, Brett? Brett's one of our awesome clients. Sean's one of our awesome clients, and Kevin's just one of our awesome viewers. I've been so blessed in this opportunity to be able to do what it is that we do and help so many people, both directly and indirectly. The letters and the emails and the cards I receive. Somebody just sent me in the mail about a week ago to my post office box. We received a bag of Keefe coffee. So we'll probably do some kind of fun little YouTube video on prison coffee, Keefe coffee. Hey, Cindy, how are you? Welcome, welcome, Cindy Shepard. So yeah, I've been just blessed, guys, and I want to thank you guys for this journey from basically the moment I released to prison, and many of you were even supporting me while I was in prison, and I didn't even know it from the very first video that I posted up on YouTube. So I really want to say thank you to all of you for the years of support, which has helped create this business model, this community's method, people helping people. And that's what this has always been about. Sometimes even I forget about that. I get so caught up in the business side of it and getting overworked and overwhelmed and trying to be competitive with the market that I'm in, knowing some of my competitors are doing some outlandish, crazy stuff and saying some ridiculously shady things. So I always have to keep my mind of me and say, hey, it's not worth doing anything that you don't think that is going to yield positive results. And I definitely don't want to land myself back in prison. Which is another reason I'm so excited to have Tom Root as part of our team. We really have just built an amazing team of entrepreneur-minded individuals who have allowed us to create this journey of success for so many of you. And a lot of it is just communication. It's giving you guys insight. And you're going to see this when you guys meet Sean on Tuesday, or probably Wednesday or Thursday when the video comes out. But I'm doing the interview on Tuesday. And meeting Sean, you guys are really going to see what it is that we thrive in, where we excel in the industry, and probably where we blow much of the competition out of the water, both in price and in services that are being committed to. So looking forward to that. So talking about personal narratives, a lot of the times we talk to individuals that are in the process, many of them of like, yes, I'm working on my narrative, or I've already got, 20 or 30 reference letters that my attorney said are great. And most of the time, unfortunately, when we see a lot of these reference letters and these narratives, it's not that they're poorly written or it's anything, putting you into making you seem like a shady character. The problem is they're overly glorifying. It's really just this outlining what a great person you are, building this beautiful image. And it doesn't really have any focus on the effect that it's having on the individual writing the letter. It doesn't really touch too much on the actual remorse that the person has illustrated. And this can really be an important factor, because if you're writing a personal narrative or you're having your friends and family do character reference letters for you, unless they have a really strong idea of what it is they should be writing about, and I know a lot of your criminal defense attorneys have either given you some basic information or they maybe sent you some links. The problem is the information that you're getting is so watered down and run of the mill that it looks and sounds like every other letter that the judge may have already read. So being able to put the proper work and effort into this and understanding the process behind it, there's a reason why we don't just tell you to go ahead and write your letter and submit it. There's a reason why we want to do an interview process. We do an interview process through a series of questions. Based on your questions and how you answer these questions, that's when we go in and start crafting and creating the narrative or the reference letters for your friends and family. Now, some of you, hey, Bruno, how are you, my man? Another awesome client. And Bruno can tell you this. Bruno can tell you that, not every letter is going to be the same, and not every letter is going to be a great letter. We've had individuals that have submitted their letters and submitted their questions and answers, and there really wasn't enough meat in there. There really wasn't enough information to pull from. So sometimes we have to use a different person, or sometimes we have to go back in and ask additional questions. And usually what it comes down to is really getting the individuals that are writing these letters to take the time out to do it right. Not just, well, I'm going to write this letter really quick in the middle of watching commercials or in the middle of listening to a podcast. They really have to allow themselves to resonate on the questions that we're asking, because if the letters don't have any value in them and it's not creating any type of a buzz, the judge is going to look at it and it's going to look like either every other letter he's read, or it's going to look like something that just doesn't have any substance to it. And the judge may not even know why this letter was turned in. So our job is to be overly critical with the letters, and sometimes maybe even slightly combative or argumentative. Many of you, we've gone back and forth. I'm sure some of you that are watching this right now have had conversations with me where you're like, I think this letter is great, and I'll tell you why I don't feel the letter is great. At the end of the day, it's your call. You're going to submit whatever letter you want to turn in. It's you. We can't tell you what letter to use, but the whole purpose of you hiring and paying our fees is for the advice, for the education, in the direction. We're here to advise you in a direction, not give you legal advice, but we're here to give you a direction of what's worked for so many other people. And sometimes that requires you challenging your own beliefs, which challenging our own beliefs in any aspect of life, prison, relationships, with our kids, going to school, arguments, politics, especially right now, coronavirus. A lot of us get stuck in our beliefs and we shut down and we don't want to hear the other side. We automatically dismiss anything we hear because it doesn't fit our own narrative in our mind. And again, talking to Sean next week, you're really going to get to hear how his mindset changed and how it changed his whole attitude about what he did, who his victims were. He went from this crime isn't that big of a deal to I destroyed lives. Once he started changing his mindset, everything else started falling into place. He started getting his mental health, his physical health. He lost tons of weight. And he actually made a statement today. I was talking to him on the phone today, and he asked me, he said, Dan, is it weird that I'm looking forward to go, or no, he says, is it weird that I'm excited to go to prison? It's like, does anybody else say that? And I think he was imagining me to say, nope, Sean, you're the first fucking person ever to say, I'm excited to go to prison. And guys, that mentality of Sean's, when somebody says, I'm excited to go to prison, what really they're saying is they're very extremely happy with the outcome. Sean was expecting 70 months or more on a sentence. He was expecting somewhere between 70 months and 10 years. So 70 to 120 months. And he sentenced to 48 months with self-surrendering. And we're going to talk all about how he got to this point, what he did. But I want to prep you guys to kind of be ready for that video next week, because these are the milestones that when we come across individuals that have these results, and it wasn't just some fluke where the judge just wrote him a pass. He's got actual part of his statement that the judge wrote back to him. I believe it's in his judgment. Things that the judge actually said to him regarding his narratives, his pre-sentence report. Many of you do not understand. I know some of you do. You understand that you're supposed to be concerned about it, but you don't all completely get it until sentencing. At sentencing is when things really start to click, because you start hearing all the things that we've been discussing. And then you start hearing the judge talking about it, the prosecutor talking about it, your attorney talking about it. They might ask probation a couple questions, and you'll hear probation speaking of certain things. If we can create this potential positive discord going in the right direction that can illustrate to a judge that everything you've done since the point of getting in trouble, the attempts that you've made to recreate this new identity, to change who you were, and you're going through this process of who you want to be, but you're able to explain it, you're able to spell it out, and you're not just going through this watered down version of, I'm sorry, what I did was wrong, I hurt people, please go easy on me. You go through this same bullshit acceptance of responsibility that so many other people have gone through before you. And I think this is a lot of the reason why when attorneys tell you, well, that none of this is going to matter, your letters don't really make that much of a difference, I think they might be of that mindset because that's what they're so used to seeing. They're so used to seeing the same outcome over and over and over again. They don't even know what it looks like if somebody were to do something completely different. And when you do something that's so different, and yet your attorneys may not know that it's a tested method, but when you're doing something that's so different, but that has been done by literally thousands of individuals before you, and the chances are this judge has probably never seen anything like it, it can create such a mindset where the judge really stops and thinks and might even rethink what he was going to do. A lot of judges walk into a sentencing hearing already with kind of a mindset of what they're going to do. They listen to final arguments to see if anything jumps out at them. And when you can create this element of surprise in your favor that just outlines who you are, did what you did, this is why you did it, this is the level of accountability you've taken, and you've got all of this ammunition in your corner that really puts you into a different light than anybody else in a similar situation to you. Again, our job is not to take a white collar individual or a nonviolent first time offender and explain to a judge why they're different than a murderer or a rapist. I mean, it's common fucking sense. But a lot of us go through that mindset where we say, well, the judge is going to see that I'm a good person. He's going to see that I didn't murder anybody. And somehow many of us forget that really good people make mistakes on a regular basis, and really good people go to prison every single day. This is not the first time the judge is seeing somebody that is a decent human being, such as many of you. I would say 99.9% of my clients are awesome individuals. There have been a few stragglers that I catch myself saying, this guy might need some prison time to wake up, and a lot of them don't end up becoming clients because when it really comes down to, all in or all out with what's required to do, this is where the men and the women separate from the boys and the girls. When you're seeing somebody willing to put in the work and the effort. And I would say that's a very, when you start talking about white collar crime, the difference that you see with these individuals is many of them aren't necessarily doing what they did because they thought they were going to go to prison or they were intentionally trying to defraud. It usually happened from this mistake to this mistake. Before you know it, it got blown out of proportion and they didn't know how to go back. But a lot of you that have gone through this road, a lot of you are really good individuals that have made brilliant business decisions throughout your life or even working up through management. Not all of you are business owners. A lot of our white collar clients are employees of companies that they got wrapped up into a white collar crime. Not every white collar defendant is, sitting on a couple $1 million in a mansion and Bentleys and Lamborghinis and Mercedes and BMWs. They don't all have yachts parked out behind their house. Many of our white collar defendants are in the average income range of 60 to 100 grand, which in 2020, $60 to $100,000 does not go very far. And when it comes to legal fees and everything else, you can go from getting by to how am I going to pay my bills next month real fast. So when I reference white collar individuals, I'm not just referencing the elite. I'm also referencing everybody in between that has committed a nonviolent first-time offender crime. A lot of our clients are drug-related crimes, but the common denominator that we all share is most of us are out on pretrial. Most of us are going to be either going to a camp or a low security. And most of us are terrified of what we're facing. And we all have to worry about the same thing, leaving our families behind, dealing with the reality of what prison's actually going to be like. And as soon as you adjust that mindset of what prison's actually going to be like, you should be able to put that to rest and stop worrying about that and now start focusing on the internal mitigation that you can be doing above and beyond from what your attorney is working on for you. This is where you can really start to separate yourself from the herd of other individuals that look and act just like you, meaning good people that made mistakes, that are out on pretrial, that are not violating, that are going to all of their appointments, showing up to all of their court dates, and every single one of them thinks that somehow that's going to matter in the end. And the only thing that matters is you're not going to get in any more trouble, but it's not giving the judge anything to really view you differently from what he's already seen. So when you want to create that spike in what the judge is viewing, and you want to give him a different pattern to go off of, well, this is where the game plan and the roadmap that we've been developing over the last several years, this is where it makes a difference. And it really comes down to the amount of work and the effort that many of you are willing to put into this. You know, we always talk about community service, getting out in the community, speaking engagements, and right now that's come to a standstill. A lot of our clients are trying to figure out what they should be doing, where they should be going. We do our best to help them do the legwork to try to find out. But I can tell you, if you're a client, you have an idea of what we want you to do. We want you to go above and beyond just serving food at the soup kitchen. We want you to get involved in your community. We want to illustrate to the judge that you're hands-on, that you're practicing vulnerability and humility by talking about what you did to individuals, that you might be able to give them a different mindset so they don't make the same mistakes that you made in the future. Whether that's talking to your youth, troubled youth, talking to schools, doing Zoom meetings with schools. So yes, we're going to do our best to try to help you set these up, but our job is to wind you up. You need to take that ball and run with it and understand that you are the one potentially that is going to be looking at a prison sentence. My job is to prepare you for what you can be doing, what you should be doing, and what will happen likely if you do nothing. It's to show you both sides of the spectrum. A lot of what happened with me, there was a lot of luck involved because I did not prepare. I did not know what a pre-sentence interview was. I did not know what RDAP was. A lot of this happened by luck for me, meaning I said the right things in my pre-sentence interview, not knowing any different, other than my attorney giving me very little guidance. Once I got into prison, that's when things kicked into gear for me. And I really started understanding that this political system that I'm in, if I do everything that they expect of me, and then some, I always wanted to find what's the extra mile? What can I do to go above and beyond? How can I create my own environment where I'm kind of on a different level than everybody else? And that's what was my whole experience in prison, which served me very well, which is part of the reason why I ended up only doing 13 months of a 42-month sentence. That's not going to happen for everybody, and we know that. Not everybody's going to get that outcome. They could do more than what I did and may not get that outcome. Right now with COVID, we're seeing a lot of people getting their dates postponed. We're seeing people get sent to home confinement that are already in prison. Many of you that have loved ones that are in prison that have, whether it's asthma or other issues that are causing that, maybe asthmatic, anything, respiratory problems, anybody that has prone to get sick easier, infectious diseases. These are people that technically could qualify to serve all of their time on home confinement, where in the past that wasn't really there. And they can do it one of two ways. The BOP can do it right through the CARES Act, or the courts can do it through a compassionate release, where they let you do all of your time on home confinement versus serving the rest of your time in prison. So there's a lot of options. For those of you that are not in prison yet, it's more likely that a judge is going to say, well, I'm not going to do that, but I will postpone your surrender date further and further and further, which we've done for a lot of our clients in the recent months, where we've gotten them additional extensions, some of them 3 or 4 extensions now. Some of them were supposed to already be in prison, and some of them are not going to prison until after the new year. And even then, it's up for debate depending on what's going to be going on with the COVID pandemic through the prison system. Right now, it's spiking all over the country again, all over the world. Florida, where we just got a mandated must wear a mask everywhere you go, which is, aggravating, but I get it. They're trying to reduce the risk. But this all comes from you guys taking this moment that you're in right now. And this is the moment you want to run with it. This is the moment where you want to say, hey, I have a lot of additional time now before I'm going to probably get sentenced. Things are going to get pushed out. Court dates are backed up. Judges don't want people in their courtroom. So they're, starting to do Zoom meetings. They're not getting through as many as fast. It gives you this much more time that you can really be creating distance between yourself and everybody else in a similar situation than you. This is why we stress that you give us a call. And here I'm posting right here in the live chat. I just posted a link to the calendar, which is also in the description of the video. There's 2 links in the description of the video. There's also one for Tom Root, for those of you that are potentially interested in seeing what your options are for compassionate release or CARES Act. That RDAP water is good. But that's what I wanted to talk about today, and I wanted to prep you guys for the interview coming up next week. Also want to get you guys ready for the podcast. It's going to be a lot of fun. The podcast is going to be a whole nother level. You can just do things on a podcast that you can't do on video because you're just audio. We're going to have some amazing guests. We're actually starting a separate podcast as well, which is going to be nothing. It's not even going to be a prison related. It's going to be a lifestyle podcast that I can't tell you any names of it yet, but I have a blast with the video and the audio, and I've really taken a liking to this. And I'm so happy that this was able to become my career. And I couldn't have done it with the individuals in my corner, Shelly, Jenny, Tom, everybody that's really been there in the background that has made things happen for us, that has allowed me to have the space to grow and have some awesome brains to rely on to make my job so much easier for myself, because I really do what I enjoy the most about the consulting side of things. What I get to do is I enjoy the conversations with you guys. I enjoy hearing your stories. I enjoy reading your plea deals and going through your PSR. I enjoy making the videos. That's what I enjoy. The part I don't enjoy is the business side of it. I don't enjoy charging a fee. I don't enjoy paying taxes. I don't enjoy talking to an accountant once a week, getting yelled at saying you can't spend it on this and you can't use this account for this. But having those individuals in your corner for accountability purposes, it's going to keep me out of the clinker, because I don't want to go back to jail, guys. Don't want to go back to prison for, tax evasion. Could you imagine? RDAP Dan back in federal prison today. Tax evasion. Since 2016 to 2020, he's estimated blah, 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 blah. And he only paid taxes on this. It would be completely by accident, because trying to do taxes on your own, as many of you may know, it's a nightmare. So having somebody that can manage your books and help you with your taxes goes a long way. So any of you out there that are starting a business, definitely talk to a bookkeeper, a CPA. Maybe you'll get one and the same. Most of them are not incredibly expensive. You can find some really good CPAs that will do your bookkeeping for a couple $100 a month, and then file all your taxes for you, your personal and your business, at the end of the year for another few $100. And it's peace of mind, and you have your taxes paid. So pay your taxes, kids. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was younger. It would have saved me so many headaches. Pay your taxes. Those of you that have awesome father figures and mother figures and awesome role models in your life at a younger age, and you're still going to prison, go talk to them. Let them know that it's not their fault, that you decided to make some crazy turns on your own, and maybe you lost grip of reality for a minute. But yeah, guys, that's all I really got for you guys right now. Again, come visit us. Come check us out on the web, federalprisontime.com. Check us out on Facebook, other social media platforms. But if you're interested in putting yourself in the best possible situation for the best possible outcome, I promise you, you will not regret having a free consultation with us to see what can happen, to see what your situation is, and to see what direction you might be able to go in. All you got to do is either book your calendar link. All my contact information is also in here If you can't figure out how to use the calendar link, shoot me a text message and I can put you on the calendar manually. I do ask you to use the calendar though, or at least try to use the calendar. This way we have a scheduled appointment where I can sit down in the office and I can pull up some of your information and go through it. So you don't just catch me while I'm at the grocery store or at the gym, because I drink this RDAP Dan green juice. It says it's for athletes. So I feel very athletic just drinking this. This is like an athletic pose right here. Gatorade, bring it at me. All right, guys. Hope you have a fantastic Wednesday evening. Go do something fun. I will be taking calls in the morning. And also with this new, give you guys a little view here. Also with our new machine here, we'll be able to take, live calls. Probably next week, we'll be able to do live calls. So for those of you that want to call in and say something nice and polite, with my luck, I'll get that one crazy person out there that can't wait to get on there and blurt something stupid. I've probably got buttons here. Like, got buttons that do that. It's always fun. But I can program all these buttons to do crazy things. So I'm looking forward to playing with my toys, guys. I'm RDAP Dan, Federal Prison Time Consulting. People helping people, communities method, one day at a time. Hope you guys stay safe. If you need anything at all, and I'm stalling right now because I can't find the window to close this. There we go, found it. All right, guys, have a great week. I will see you guys next week. Sean, the interview, Dr. Sean. See you guys soon. Peace.